Hi, I'm Christy Carrolls. I'm a solutions architect with Trellix. Thanks for inviting me back today. I'd like to show you our solution called Helix Connect. Basically, it helps speed detection and response with a multi-vector, multi-vendor correlation capability. In our last meeting, you discussed that your biggest concern was ransomware. One of the reasons why was A, it's targeting your industry, and B, the current state that you have today, you have a high volume of alerts that are actually very hard to triage. You have a collection of multiple tools that actually have multiple pivot points from screen to screen. Your analysts are producing and doing repetitive time-consuming tasks that could be taken care of, low-level type tasks. And again, you've seen that ransomware is on the rise. So our desired state that we've talked about is we want to be able to triage every alert and prioritize those threats. You'd like built-in automation and orchestration of all of your collection of tools with those multiple pivot points. And then you would like generative AI-driven process and expertise. All in all, providing you a detection and response across your open, connected enterprise to detect that ransomware faster. So in our demonstration today, we will show you just that. It is based on our Helix Connect XDR solution, and we will show you a unique capability of end-to-end ransomware defense. Let's go to the demonstration. Looking at the XDR dashboard, our analyst is presented with a high-risk ransomware alert. Before diving in, our analyst does a quick review of the observed MITRE TTPs, noting that the Trellix platform has provided visibility from initial access of phishing all the way through the encryption event through all stages of the attack. We also see that there is activity with email security, but because of a password-protected attachment, email security was flagged and the medium priority event affecting John Butter. Digging into the email alert details, we observe that the use of suspicious sender that combines the name of an OS tool with an odd domain. This raises suspicion, and our analyst pivots back to XDR to see what else it found. Yikes. Our analyst returns back to the alert dashboard to see another high priority alert, which is also associated with John Butter. We see this here. It's also associated with Jessica Salt, and based on the tags on the right-hand side, XDR has correlated events along with threat intelligence. Now, digging into the high priority event, we see that Trellix XDR has mapped out stages of the execution to 8 of 14 MITRE TTPs, mapping such things as command and control, credential access, defense evasion, discovery, as well as exfiltration of data. We've now transitioned back, and the analyst goes back to the attack reconstruction, and the analyst can expand all the details around the affected sources of telemetry, alerts, impacted assets, and other artifacts. This is also where we see that John Butter and Jessica Salt, as well as the endpoints, were logged into. Our analyst clicks on one of the assets to uncover that EDR has detected lateral movement during the attack, with a file being transferred over SMB. Yikes. So we pivot into EDR and drill down to see the full process execution and see that EDR is showing all 24 TTPs. We click on the one we saw in the XDR dashboard. We see the attacker used SMB64 for malicious activity and used it to transfer files and obfuscate its activity. This is a difficult task for a defender to identify if a native binary are being used normally or with malicious intent. And because EDR was able to identify the use of a temporary directory, it is deemed malicious. EDR also identified the ransomware deployment phase, showing everything down to the file path and the hash information. And we're showing deobfuscation. There's our file, and all the way down to the file path. Now we see XDR has correlated a DLP alert that uses credential access associated with John Butter's account. This is the first stage of the data collection and exfiltration. Eek, this is where bad things really start to happen. So digging into the DLP alert, we see that the 7-zip executable was used to create an archive of credentials. And another process has also grabbed credentials and stored them in a file in a clear attempt to hide behind the benign name of buffer TMP. That is very benign. DLP has determined both of these scenarios are related to credential theft. We're seeing the additional information right there, buffer.tmp, classification under credentials. Bad actors also double dip to use standard tools such as rclone to exfiltrate data to use for ransom. This was also detected by EDR. We're showing how we can dig in to that EDR alert right here. And from network security, EDR has also indicated that one of its assets has a login to a remote location, and this activity is typical for an actor to drop a payload for beaconing out to their C2C command and control server for command and control. Now we see the most damaging phase of ransomware, the impact phase, where files are encrypted. This is done via behavioral profiling, and Trellix Endpoint has detected an attempt to execute a previously unknown malware sample, i.e. the actual ransomware payload. We transition back and you're seeing this on the endpoint, and it's a custom written 0-day payload specifically targeted to this organization. Trellix Endpoint monitors the process, and because it is reputation of unknown, it runs in a contained fashion. The behavioral engine detects encryption and is able to unencrypt the files in real time. And only Trellix can do this, as we don't use volume shadow services, which threat actors can turn off. Through this demonstration, you have seen how Trellix has shown unique capabilities and an effective and efficient workflow for your security operations team, helping combat that nasty ransomware. Thanks again for watching the demo on Helix Connect and how it can combat ransomware. So just to recap what we just talked about, we wanted to be able to provide optimization and security operations efficiency, right, with those automated AI-generated capabilities. We bust those security silos, those multiple tools, with 500 plus integrations into our solution, providing you an improved mean time to detection and response with that multi-vendor, multi-vector detection, contextualizing your threats with intelligence automatically, up-leveling your SOC analyst, mitigating those attacks with on-prem and cloud orchestration response, and then last but not least, providing a unique end-to-end defense against that ransomware. Hopefully this was helpful and helped show how we can help you combat ransomware. Thanks for your time today. Have a great day.